Powered by Riverside.
Hello, welcome back.
Hey.
Welcome to Popcorn and Beers, where some use tomatoes, others use thumbs. We use the stuff that gets you drunk. So, we are back, episode 2. By now, you've seen what we are about. I'm with my co-hosts, Jordan and Josh.
Hi. Howdy.
And
We'll talk
producer,
about what I
all in one.
do some other time. Okay.
Don't worry about what's in his cup.
Yeah.
We're going to start where we always start, what we're watching this week. Jordan, why don't you go ahead and start, because I have the longest list, I guess.
Okay. So I started this week watching The Bubble on Netflix, B-list comedy, starring an ensemble of, that one guy or girl from that thing that you kind of liked, you saw and you kind of remember that face. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty good. A ton of big cameos in it, like ones you totally don't expect. Like, wow, how'd they pull this guy in here? And possibly the most hilariously offensive British person you will ever see on TV and film. He's great.
Ricky Gervais.
No, he's just some guy. Yeah, close. Good guess. No. But it's a comedy that takes place in a movie set that is happening during the pandemic. So all these actors with all their quirks are trapped in this hotel to get this film done.
Yeah, I've seen
a lot of
part of
risky humor. But you couldn't get all the way through it.
Nah, something came up or I got bored. I forgot. But.
Right. I can imagine. It's a lot of risky humor. It's the best kind, in my opinion, for today's social climate. But it was refreshing to see that they kind of walked that tightrope and pulled off some good humor. It's also like one of those like sort of mockumentary type movies, like where it's about making a movie, which sounds like a weird niche thing, but it's like it is some kind of genre that's reoccurs that I enjoy. So, kind of like a la like Tropic Thunder type of thing, you know what I mean? Yeah, I like that setting in a movie. It's
a great
makes
show.
for good acting. Yeah. And then next movie I watched was Top Gun Maverick.
Oh.
One of the big movies of the year. Yep.
That's about airplanes, right?
It. Yeah.
The right
Jets.
movies.
Talking planes. Yep.
So let me preface my rap on this with saying I can't stand Tom Cruise.
Oh,
I can't stand him. I just feel like there's this like psychotic deadness behind his eyes.
Oh yeah.
And like, yeah. Like, he's got all his like, he makes these like feeble PR stunts and like cameos attempting to show he's like relatable and like has a sense of humor and humility about himself. But I don't buy it. I don't think I'll ever buy it.
Oh yeah, dude. His eyes are CG. Like they're just something off. He sold his soul a long time ago. Yeah, I mean that's a good preference. I usually whenever I give a good like I like this movie, like Last Samurai, for instance, I say I hate Tom Cruise, but same thing.
He makes good movies, but there's just him. I can't. Yeah.
Well, he's always playing himself.
So I'll say
first of all.
Exactly. Yeah, Tom Cruise is always playing Tom Cruise.
Yeah,
and he's always running. Always running.
So I'll say that he deeply cares about his franchises. Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
He, stays true to the source material. He gives the people what they're expecting in that project.
Absolutely.
It's got everything you want in like a nostalgia sequel. All the cheesy callbacks. It looked and felt like a direct 80s sequel. Other than the advancement of the military technology, obviously. The dialogue, the conflicts, the sexism, the porn stash on Miles Teller. Yeah, the whole girls can't fly planes, girls don't belong in here, blah blah blah. That whole dynamic with the I forget her name in her call name in the movie, but yeah,
it was girl. Her name was Girl.
It all screamed. Her name's Girl. Yeah, it screamed 80s. And my problem with it was It's it's got all the cool jet maneuvers and all that everything you want to see, but just the whole movie is just close-ups of heads going. That's it. That's the whole movie.
Whoa, what was that?
yeah. Just a lot of whiplash going on, cool jet maneuver, head swinging around.
I can't breathe.
Yeah, blacking out, a lot of tunnel vision. And I didn't go into it with high expectations, despite the box office numbers, and I walked away pretty content. I wasn't disappointed, but I wasn't impressed. But I could see how it could really be some people's favorite experience movie this year.
Okay.
And it was better than the original. I hated the original.
So overall, with The Bubble, what did you rate that? How many beers? We get 3 beers out of that and a popcorn, just a popcorn. What did we get?
Oh gosh, a popcorn.
A popcorn. I was feeling great. That's actually not a B movie. That was actually an A movie. The budget is huge from Netflix for that movie.
Really?
Yes.
I guess they spent it all on all the cameos.
Judd Apatow, man.
Yeah.
It's funny because I don't think this is a spoiler alert, but I just let you guys know if it is. It's funny that the whole movie revolves around TikTok. Like the whole movie revolves around TikTok.
Yeah, a lot of breaking out into TikTok dance routines just at random intervals of the movie.
Just like TikTok will save the world. Go China. So Top Gun Maverick, popcorn beers.
I'm gonna give it a popcorn and 2 beers.
That's popcorn and 2 beers. Okay.
2 beers, yeah.
I agree.
Straight down the line movie. Damn.
Yeah,
good stuff.
I agree. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I actually saw it in the movie theater twice.
Really?
I will tell you this. It is a movie theater movie. It's absolutely not the same on Paramount Plus.
I guarantee that.
Yeah.
But that's what they're
100%, Josh.
Like, I think 90% of box office now is going to be you're going there for the ride. Like, you have to be there for the ride. You can see it on Netflix later, but you're going to miss it, dude.
Yeah, it's not going to be the same flick. I totally agree with you, Jordan, on Top Gun Maverick. I didn't agree with all the themes. One thing I had an issue with was like both teams are on offense, and I was like, that doesn't work at all. Like, there's no premise where that works because then they score, but then the other team can just score. Like, what does this mean? What are you talking? Are they playing rugby?
Well, there's a name. There's a name for the game that they're playing, but it's out. It's not PC to say anymore, so I don't know what they call it now.
Oh, you're talking about that old smearing somebody.
Yes.
Smearsy beer.
Yeah, I got you.
New title for it because it's like whoever. There's only one beer left. Get the guy who has the beer. Smearsy beer.
Yeah, I like it. Smearsy beersy.
I'm gonna put it in. Write a patent for it tonight.
You just did a thing.
Sounds like the Coke dealer that lives in Martha's Vineyard.
Yeah.
Where'd you get the Coke? Well, Smearsy beersy on the corner of the beer.
The guy in the board shorts.
The guy in the board with the dock shoes. That dude. Josh, what did you get into this week?
Oh, well, we can get into, we get the butter on top, of course, that's coming up. And then, the throwback, we'll get into that soon too. But aside from that, I only watched, I started this foreign show on accident called The Protector. It's, Turkish. It's filmed in Istanbul, I believe. Geography's bad, but the plot is like, you're the chosen one. He has a shirt that makes him invincible. You have to kill the immortals. It's kind of one of those type of shows, like Buffy situation. But it's really interesting.
Does he shower
because
with his shirt on?
Yeah, well, it's a tattoo that's a magical shirt.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, I got it.
Sorry. Yeah, it's interesting because I didn't know it was Turkish, so I started. It's dubbed, like blah, 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 and it's a little like they act a little strange because it's not an American drama or whatever. But it's really cool seeing the Turkish scenery, and the plot revolves around Hagia Sophia. So they show like a million shots, and they're inside Hagia Sophia. Like, it's pretty cool in that regard. I'd probably give it a popcorn and a beer. It's worth checking out, I suppose, if you want to have a just a binge day. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, I might check it out.
Turkish day.
A Turkish day. Have a Turkish coffee and a Turkish delight. What I did, I got into so much because Like, it's the holidays. I work for the government, so there's not a lot going on. I watched a show like Josh. I didn't know it was a foreign show. I thought it was foreign, but I thought it was British. I thought I was watching a British show, right? And it was dubbed right away. And I was like, oh, snap. This is like, they speak French. They speak German. They speak, then you do have your real English, because the trailer is like an England English. And that's why I thought it was like an English show. But it's called 1899, and it takes place on a ship. And I will tell you right now, I'm going to give it a popcorn and a beer, right? Because for most of the show, I was like, this is stupid. Like, but I'm invested. I got to see what happens at the end. You know, like, this is dumb, stereotypical, poor directing. Right. He's trying to be artsy. He's copying everything. I gave it a popcorn and a beer because it is a decent watch. You are kind of wrong. You're actually absolutely wrong when you're guessing what's going on. Okay? Like, when you're trying to guess what's going on, like, you end up being totally wrong. There's a huge twist. And you're like, I'm dumb as shit. Didn't see that coming, right? But the problem is it takes so long to get there that you're like, come on, man. Like, let's go. Move it. Move the plot. Yeah. But the soundtrack was fantastic. It's like all 80s rock soundtrack, but it takes place in like a classical era, like a Titanic era. Okay. So I dug the soundtrack. That kept me invested. Black Butterflies is a 6-episode, I believe it's 6-episode limited series, and it's another foreign film. I want to say it's German, but I'm not sure. I can't recall. But it's called Black Butterflies, and it takes place in current times, and it's about a writer telling an old man's story, and the old man's story is filled with just murder, and he was never caught. And I'm not spoiling anything for anybody because it has an interwoven story within this, right? Yeah. You can find out right away, like, this dude is a killer. So I'm not spoiling it. It's first episode. The writer is a former prisoner who, almost like Nicolas Cage Con Air style, defended a woman, hurt him really bad, ended up going to jail for it. Gets out, and you find out about his family life. I'm going to tell you, it's a popcorn. If you can make it through it, it's a popcorn 2 beers. It's not a popcorn 3 beers. It's not the best thing I've ever seen, because there are some parts where you're like, come on. But definitely, I would recommend it if you could sit through it dubbed or you could read the subtitles. It was a really solid show. It was really good. 6 quick episodes. So if you're on a flight, I'm not condoning this, but if you have a place to put your phone while you're driving and you just want to listen to it, you'll get through it. But yeah, definitely a popcorn 2 beers. Wednesday, had to get on my Tim Burton. I love Tim Burton. It's got, Catherine Zeta-Jones makes her triumphant return. She's on another show right now. Yeah, she's on another show right now. Obviously, you can never replace Angelica Houston, but Catherine Zeta-Jones does her best. Wednesday does a really great job. Christina Ricci's back. Ricci. Why did her name just leave me? The young actress that plays Wednesday. Jenna Ortega. Jenna Ortega. Jenna Ortega is fantastic. She's going to win. I think she's going to win the Golden Globe for the show. Probably walk away with an Emmy. But she was fantastic. She put a lot into it. You could tell her performance was fantastic. I will say this. Tim Burton definitely, he hones it in. He just does Tim Burton shit that everybody's expecting. And you're like, okay, buddy. You're mailing it in.
Straight down the barrel.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
You're just doing Tim Burton. The end left a lot to be desired. I'm going to give it a popcorn and a beer.
A beer.
Watch it. Enola Holmes 2. I'm going to tell you right now, it's a popcorn for me. I thought the writing was rough. I thought it was just like, hey, we got to make a sequel. It didn't make any sense. The ending left a ton to be desired. So that's why it's a popcorn for me. That being said, Millie Bobby Brown is fantastic.
Millie Bobby Brown, does she do any kind of martial arts choreography in that movie?
Yes, of course. Absolutely.
Do that. Just because you're Sherlock Holmes doesn't mean you know Kung Fu. Come on.
But it actually talks about that, how she learns all that again. It's like what she learns, and she starts like her own little thing to help other people be able to defend themselves. Yeah. But you've got Henry Cavill's not in it enough, and when he is, he's just kind of collecting a paycheck. Helena Bonham Carter, HBC, amazing as always.
She's never bad. As always, I love her the most. I love her the most, more than you guys.
Yeah, never bad. Never. I love her more than us. She's never bad, though. But overall, a popcorn. The Patient. Popcorn 3 beers. Popcorn 3 beers. Steve Carell. I can't think of the young man's name, but the other actor. You've seen him before, though. He's been in a lot of things. He always plays a weirdo in everything he's in. But I gave that one a popcorn 3 beers. I was locked in a full day. Actually, it was a day and a half. I finished the last episode when I was eating breakfast. But it was really good. And Steve Carell, Josh, like you said on last episode, I think we're all just going through life and we're not realizing that Steve Carell is the best actor of our generation. Because he was fantastic.
Yeah.
You know what? Jordan, you left one of yours out. So I'm going to skip right over. I'm going to come back to it. I'm going to let you finish up. We're going to close out this topic. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm just saying, I'm just now realizing, like, remembering what The Patient is and how long that's been on my list of things to watch. So I'm glad you brought it up and you gave it a good review, because now I'm definitely going to have to watch that sometime this week.
Yeah, it's right away, too. It's not, it doesn't take a long time to get into. The director and writer's like, all right, we got 9 episodes. Let's go. And like, boom, you're in. Like right away, you're in. Last movie I'm going to review is Barbarian. And this is available if you're in the UK listening to us. It is available on Disney+. If you're in America, it is available on Hulu. And it is one of the worst movies I have ever seen. It is one of the worst movies ever.
It's awful.
You saw it too, Jordan, already?
Oh, I saw it in theater.
God,
it was terrible.
It was so bad. It was. Yeah. I wrote down Keith and Tess. They're trying to do something with Airbnb. Annoying, terrible decisions. Stereotypical horror. There were so many points where I'm like, just leave. Just leave. Just leave.
Yeah.
Like, it's not rocket science.
It's like, no, you deserve this.
Like, no, I need this in my life. And in reality, it's just kind of like, we need you to do all these dumb things so we can finish this movie.
That my take on it on Twitter, my rap on it on Twitter a while back when I first saw it in theater was, it's like a bunch of decent plots that never get fleshed out. It's just like throwing 3 random plots and just mash them together. You know?
Okay, yeah.
You know what? If the whole movie took place in like the 70s, I would have been fine with that. Like if the whole movie took place in the 70s, I would have been like, perfect. If we just followed dude and building his whatever it is he's building and all that stuff and his little water and power character, and he's a good actor, the main guy, it would have been fine, right? But then they just did too much. Well, you got Justin Long making his little cameo appearance. So that was fun. I was like, oh, Justin Long. Like, but by that point, I was already like, this is a dumb movie. It's dumb all the way through. I wouldn't even have been able to get through a full popcorn. It would have been a half popcorn. It was
it was unprecedented.
It was so bad. It was so
I laughed so hard though on that part where he discovers the like dungeon that's blood stained in the basement, and he goes and he's measuring his.
How much money out of this?
Yeah,
he's measuring it and he's completely oblivious to what's going on. Because the character needs money. I'm not going to go into it. I'm not going to spoil it. Character needs money, so he's like Googling, does a basement count as square footage?
Yeah.
So yeah, but Jordan, you left one of your reviews out. The Banshees of Inisherin.
Yes. Fantastic movie. So the Banshees of Inisherin, I was practicing that all week. No. Yeah, it's fine. I get it. I was practicing that all week.
Yeah, there's like one small, 1-2 second part where there he is. I saw his face.
That title probably a different way every single time, but it is Inisherin. But so a movie with huge award season buzz, starring Colin Farrell. For some reason, never really draws me in to watch a movie as good as he always is. You know, I'm never like, Colin Farrell, I need to watch that.
Well, I don't know if he's always good, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's good the last 2 films. Batman was really good, and I will agree with you. He's good in this.
I didn't even know that was Colin Farrell in Batman till like a solid, way into the movie. I was like, oh, shit. Yeah. It's visually stunning, cool. Set on a fictional island called Inisherin, which is like a representation of Ireland. The whole movie being some kind of metaphor for the Irish Civil War that they reference a little bit, but don't really explain the connection there. But
Yeah.
I guess it's there. But it asks the question: what if your presumed best friend woke up and decided he don't like you no more, and he don't want to speak to you anymore in the worst way possible? It's like this whole analysis on the existential anxiety, of our relationships and social interactions, and just how crazy that type of stuff can drive you. Yeah. It's a slow burning, odd, artsy comedy. I love the cynical, unfiltered conversational humor of European, British, Irish comedies. You know what I mean? Like just that dialogue heavy sarcasm. Love it. I giggled, I cackled, I belly laughed. Is what I put in my notes throughout the movie.
I did 2 beers, 2.5.
It was feckin' fantastic. If you'll see the movie, it's feckin'. Everything is feckin' great.
Yep.
Popcorn and 3.
You're feckin' crazy.
You're feckin'. Yeah. 3.
Well, I just wanted to briefly say I forgot that I also saw The Batman, but I think maybe we put that on pause for when let's just talk about Batman in general someday. You know what I mean? That could be a whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah, no, give us your review though. What'd you give it?
He's not just a utility
Popcorn and 3 beers.
Batman, I go 2 beers, 2.5. Yeah.
Popcorn and 3 beers, 4 Banshees. Batman,
yeah, but I think we could go a lot further into that. We can do that on a Batman episode someday when the time's right.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Yeah, let's move on.
I agree. You got to be, and both are slow burns. Both films you guys just mentioned are slow burns because the Batman is based on they're telling the story of when he is the world's greatest detective, just geared towards, hey, he is the best detective in the world. Here's why he's the best detective in the world, and it's you got to be in. You got to be in. If you're not in,
he will break your arm if you jaywalk.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will say, Banshees, I agree. Popcorn, 3 beers. Where did we find ourselves on Drunken Classic?
Well, I was inspired by last week we talked about Bullet Train with Brad Pitt. And so I thought of a movie very similar and wanted to talk about some Smoking Aces. I think it's 2006 or something. And it's one of my favorite movies all time. It's got like a 31% on Rotten Tomatoes, but I don't care. Huge ensemble. A lot of people that you're like, oh crap, they're in this movie, but also like kind of sort of the start for a lot of careers, sort of. Like Taraji P. Henson was incredible in that movie. She had been around, but that was like the first time I'd seen her in my scope, I suppose. And like a couple years later, she took off. Ryan Reynolds had been in movies since always, but that was the first time I saw him as like a big time action star. It was like, he can act. Like, whoa, you know?
I think Blade Trinity, it was like that and Blade Trinity, right? Like Blade Trinity and then Smoking Aces.
Oh, Blade Trinity, yep. Chris Pine was in it. Just like just Chris Pine. And he became Captain Kirk after that. It was crazy. He had a small role, smallish. Everyone had a smallish role because there was a big ensemble cast. There was a lot of things going on. But just like Bullet Train, it was a lot of action, gratuitous, and sometimes a lot of hard cuts, a lot of cinematic Guy Ritchie type quick shots and interesting zoom ins and all that. And like light fourth wall breakage, comedy just injected, out of nowhere. Like the karate. Remember the Karate Kid? He's like, "You got skills? You got skills. Check the skills." And he gets an erection while he's karate fighting. Ben Stiller is in there briefly. It was just an amazing show. Like heavy action. Reviews called it like Tarantino mixed with Guy Ritchie, and that's pretty apt. Like it's sort of a mystery as to why all this is happening. You find out at the very end. The ending just drops you off a cliff. Like holy crap, and it was great. I give it 3 beers, popcorn and 3 beers all day. It's one of my favorite movies. It's not like super deep. No one gets an Oscar out of that, but it's just a solid front to back.
It's a nostalgic classic for you.
Yeah.
I will tell you, I watched it again, and I was like, man, 19-year-old me was in. 18-year-old me was in.
Perhaps so,
now, I'm like popcorn, beer. Like if I was with the boys, kicking it with the boys, I'd be like, yeah, dude, this movie's
Just
shit.
like casual,
We're gonna shoot 'em
like
up,
a
bang bang.
casual
But for
tone,
me, unfortunately, like
maybe.
my love story with those movies is Stallone. Like that's my safe place with those movies. I will watch Stallone hang people with arrows in garages and barns all day long, always. I will always love that stuff, right? But Smoking Aces, still fun, still a lot of fun, still love Alicia Keys.
But I do object though to you throwing in Stallone versus this movie. I'm telling you this, the architecture of this script is Shakespearean level. You have so many themes that dive in and out of each other. Absolute tragedy, incredible tenseness. There's love stories here and there, like at the very end with Common and Alicia Keys, and then Alicia Keys and Taraji P. Henson.
Yeah.
I put this on a really high pedestal as far as the script
No,
goes.
no,
If
no,
you
they
don't like
just
the
fit it
execution, I get it,
Mhm.
and I understand growing out of a movie.
By the
too,
way,
Yeah,
for
they just fit it
sure.
in.
Alicia
But
Keys.
that don't put Stallone in that conversation. It's okay.
I'm still going to give it a popcorn and a beer for me. I still love Jeremy Piven.
Jeremy Piven, yeah.
Yeah, Jeremy Piven's fantastic.
Oh man, he plays the best likable asshole.
Yeah,
Great
With
at
his
that.
almost
That's his
good
part.
accent.
That's his only part. That's his only thing. Even in Entourage, that's his
That's fine.
only thing.
It's fair.
That's
Yeah.
what he does. Like, what is his old movie? Sell Hard, like the story of something.
I feel that.
Goods, yeah.
Yeah.
I just remember that movie was so terrible, The Goods. But my favorite scene is like Will Ferrell's cameo where he's like, so many fucking dildos. He's knocking the dildos out of this guy. But Jerry Piven plays the same character in that
Blender
movie.
bin.
And then you got Andy Garcia. You got to have your amazing actor that shows up, right? Your classical amazing actor. It's still popcorn and a beer.
Dude, look.
It's like Josh said. You're watching it and you're constantly going, "Is that who I think it is? Is that really? He's in that role." Like Joel Edgerton as the stooge European gangster with that hilarious the what is this on my jacket scene? Cinnamon roll. It's cinnamon roll.
Wow.
The roll of the cinnamon.
The cinnamon roll.
Yeah.
He's one of those actors too that's in a bunch of stuff you don't even like realize he's in. You're like, oh shit, is that Joel Edgerton?
Chris Pine, as you mentioned, the homicidal redneck brother, which I did a little bit of like digging, like how did he land in that role? And I just learned it was a late casting due to another actor I love, Michael Shannon, I guess was originally cast in that role, but he was being a jerkwad, and so they fired him and replaced him with Chris Pine.
But I mean, it's just amazing to think about him having that small role, like a quick walk-on for him, and then he's Captain Kirk, and they don't have enough money to pay him for a sequel. Like that's how much he's worth now.
How much of a different movie is it with Michael Shannon?
Right? I love him though. Yeah,
I do too.
Yeah. It's balls to the wall. You can't really ask for a better over-the-top, just violent action movie. Another movie that really cares about its villains, something I like. But I'm gonna go popcorn and two.
Popcorn and two beers. So we basically like ramped up popcorn and a beer, popcorn and two beers, popcorn and three beers.
Yes.
Crescendo. So our butter on top this week was Avatar 2, and I think judging by the numbers that it put out over the box office numbers over the weekend, it was everybody's butter on top. But Jordan, let's start with you. What did you think of the film?
Yeah,
I just got out of the movie an hour ago, just about, and I haven't had too much time to really mull it over, Yeah, to digest it. I was a little hungover, so that dark theater was looking real cozy. I was kind of nodding in and out, to be honest.
Sort of.
But
asleep in the theater.
I did not. I kept myself awake, and that is no reflection of the movie. I thought the movie was great. The effects, just everything is so like brain porn is what I like just eye porn. You know what I mean? It's like everything is just your eyes are just feasting on everything you're seeing. But my only drawback on it was the plot. of it was kind of just too. It felt just copy and pasted from the first one. Like I hate when a movie has a sequel and you can't even get like a new villain. Like, you know what I mean? They just kind of like, oh, we brought. I don't know. I hope I'm not spoiling anything there, but it's like we brought the old guy back from the dead. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, the villain is still man. It's still humans. Humans are still the villain.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, of course. Yes.
You're not going to change that, but the same character.
Yeah. I'm gonna give it a. I'm gonna give it a popcorn and 2 beers. Can't give it 3. I can't do 3. Yeah.
Okay, and Josh, you also watched it recently. I think I watched it before any of us because I had to get in quick because I had a busy week.
I call it. I saw it Christmas Eve's. Just it was like my last chance to see it before we recorded, and I mean, yeah, it was good. It was good. You're right about just visually stunning. Like, if anyone doesn't know, I draw stuff. I do art stuff, and like seeing the environmental sets that they created in CG and whatever, like every frame pretty much was a painting, and it was just incredible. Like when they showed the forest and like going through the ocean and stuff, and all of it was so well put together. It was gorgeous. As for complaints, recreating the villain, okay. Going back sort of half step, the motion capture on the face was insane. Like that guy looked like that guy. Spoiler again, he was blue. He became Blue Boy, but his face was still there. Like that's him.
They used your joke,
and then
they used your joke that you stole from Arrested Development. I blew myself.
So he blew himself. Even Sigourney Weaver plays a younger character, like a 16, 17-year-old, and like it still looks like her. She's a blue alien that's 17, but it still looks like Sigourney Weaver. But as for the plot, my complaint is the plot as well. So like my big question is, who had character development? The answer is nobody. Did we really come to any conclusion? No. It's just this was really just like a Pirates of the Caribbean 2 situation where it's just build up for the next episode. Like, I will stand and fight. Oh, wait, we're going to run real quick. No, at the end, I will stand and fight. Okay, buddy, shut up. Now we're going to have one more movie of this and then the finale. I did like, though, like there was no main character of this movie. Whether you want to say there was or not, there wasn't. It was the main character was the whole family. And I think that's kind of a newish thing, or I haven't seen that in quite a while.
I thought it was the little white boy.
No, the little white boy, if he's the main character, vomit. Like, he was the worst. Like, he didn't, like, he was the most up at bat for, like, character development, but he got none. Like, I like you, Dad. I hate you, Dad. I like you, Dad. I hate you, Dad. And that's where he ends up.
Come on, bro. Come on, bro. Bro.
Bro. And you know what I kept calling him in my head was the jungle kid from the Tim Allen movie. That's what he looked like to me.
Yeah.
Encino Man.
Oh, I mean, but yeah, he was the most had the most potential to really have a good solid arc, and he had no arc. It was just a flat all the way through. So great action. I like the loving family unit thing. Actually, that was kind of cool. But otherwise, I don't know. Popcorn beer. If you're seeing it at home, it's a popcorn and a beer. In theater, 2 beers.
It's like we talked about with popcorn with Top Gun Maverick. You got to see it in the theater. It's funny because in Josh's he stole one of my words. I said one of my positives was visually brilliant. It's absolutely. Did either of you see it in 3D?
Yeah, I did.
I can't do 3D. They don't make 3D glasses that fit over my Dahmer glasses.
Yeah. So I'm going to tell this quick story. I went to the theater. It's a cheap theater, like old. And so they had the glasses, right? So I get in there and the trailers start and they're blurry. So, okay, time for glasses. Put on the glasses and it's not really working and it's dark and shit. And like, this is bullshit. This theater sucks and I'm never coming back here again. Try it again. Dark, blurry still. I was using my sunglasses because before I went, I smoked some weed and I was like, I wonder if I smoked enough weed for this movie. And so that was my sign. Then I put on my regular glasses, my 3Ds.
Yeah, and I don't have a reference point because I only saw it in 3D, and I saw it in 3D because it was the earliest showing. That was I would have seen it in 2D if the 3D wasn't the earlier showing. The 3D was the earlier showing.
But I liked how the 3D element, they didn't go over the top like they have in the past. They really made it useful and not a headache. So that's cool.
Yeah, but it wasn't. What I'm saying is, it wasn't one of those movies where it's like I have to see it in 3D. It was just kind of like it's the earlier showing. I had visually stunning. I had trigger warning. If you do not like to see animals killed or murdered or maimed, don't go see this movie. I gotta let you know, like I gotta let my fellow animal lovers. That was the one thing I hated. I was like, God, like stop killing animals. Like there's no, like you're not gaining anything. I get it. The movie is Save the Whales. Like
Yeah, like right, right after they say these are sentient creatures with lots of emotions, dead.
he's like, I know what I'll do. I'll shoot the dog. Right?
Yeah.
Like
Endorsed by SeaWorld.
yeah, spoiler alert. If you've never,
Also, kind of trigger warning if you're indigenous or at all or know anyone indigenous, don't take them to this movie. Maybe, I don't know, kind of. I don't know. I'd have to ask someone.
I agree. And spoiler alert, this movie's a couple
Yep.
years old. If you didn't
Why
watch
do
it
you
over
wanna-
COVID, you're
do you
never
need
going to
that?
watch it.
Do you need to do that?
There's a movie called
Do you really
Chaos
need to do
Walking
that?
with Spider-Man Tom
Holland.
Tom Holland, yeah, Tom Holland. And man, like I was like, okay, this is a good B movie. It's fine. It's got Daisy Ridley in it, you know, from Star Wars, and Tom Holland. I was like,
Dude.
it's fine, decent concept, different alien planet. And then they kill the dog. I was like, fuck this movie.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
Terrible.
Dear directors, my immediate reaction every single time will be, fuck this movie if you kill the dog. I get it. I get what you're going for here. And my last note is, I thought they used the little sister as a catalyst way too many times. Like,
Yeah.
how many times can that little girl get in trouble? Like, how many times can she get caught? How many times does she find herself back in? And I felt like James Cameron just kept using her to move the story along. And I'm
Yeah.
like, use someone else. Like, use a different
Yeah.
character than the little.
Let me tell you. Every time she was a thing, where it's like, oh, we forgot about her. Every time I was like, I forgot she existed. Oh yeah, there's a little kid. It was the worst. It was just.
I was literally like, stop using her.
super shark.
Stop using. I get it. I get it. She's young. Stop using her as the cat. I'm tired of it. It's the same thing, and it's not even a different thing.
Oh.
She just gets caught
Yeah,
every
yeah.
time. It's
World
not a new
building.
situation. Outside of that, they had some elements of the Karate Kid mixed in there with, like, you know, new kids in a new environment. Guys are going to be bullies. We're going to trick them into thinking we're friends. Like, there's a lot of little 80s elements that he tried to tie in.
Then we're gonna try to kill you with a shark. Jeez, it escalated really quick. It was just a shark.
Just kidding.
Super shark.
But yes, visually stunning. The ocean was amazing. The ocean was absolutely beautiful. He got his money's worth on the graphics. I didn't get it with the first one, but I didn't watch the first one in the theaters. This one, I was like, okay, I see. It is beautiful. It's a beautiful.
The ocean looked better than the real ocean.
Yeah, no, it did. It did. Imagine if we kept our planet clean.
You know what would help with what would really help with the runtime of the movie is if, like, you buy your tickets online for a week in advance and then they mail you a book about all the rules of this new Avatar world. Like, so you don't have to get it explained in all the exposition. Like, this is a different planet and we connect with our.
Or just not 40 minutes of trailers anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I timed it at my theater. I'm like, we're okay. The movie was supposed to start at 10. It is 10:36, and I'm just now put my 3D glasses on.
Yeah. We all get our trailers on social media.
And it wasn't even a new Ant-Man trailer.
Oh yeah, they're supposed to be, right?
Yeah, it was Ant-Man trailer, but it wasn't new. It was really upsetting.
So I will popcorn 2 beers it as well. But for the theater, if you watch it from home, popcorn and a beer from home, popcorn and 2 beers just for the visual effects and the work they put into it there. The script leaves a lot to be desired. The story leaves a lot to be desired. But it is a good action movie. good action. There's good action from beginning to end. It's
Yeah, there's good action. There's some cool shit in there. Yeah, for sure. There's some cool shit. Oh, did you see the homage at the end?
Homage to what?
Like he does an homage to Terminator 2 and Titanic at the same time. That's the only spoiler I can give you. At the very end, the fight scenes and stuff.
I think so. Yeah.
I thought it was more Alien. I'm sorry, dude. I thought it was more of an homage to Alien.
Yeah.
When he goes back and that's what I got. I got.
Well,
Alien.
I'll say in the end,
when Sigourney has to go back to the ship and she's taking it out by herself, and then the dad has to go back on the ship and fight the dude by himself. Like I was like, oh,
maybe so. Yeah. So he's on the rafters and there's the fire water. So that's like T-1000 versus T-800. But it could be Alien too. Anyway, I think he's referencing his own movie. I don't think that was a mistake. Right.
yeah,
But I rewatched those.
that makes sense. I
rewatched the
like
Star
I said,
Wars.
there were a lot of elements of like 80s in there. Like I saw a lot of elements of 80s.
James Cameron is going to make you love this universe he's created or die trying.
They're signed up to
it's not optional. You are going to love it.
they're signed up till 5 movies.
Yeah, so like with my review, I would also say like just like the first one, I'm probably never going to see this again, but I will see the next however many they make. I'm going to watch them. So
Just like Star Wars, just like Marvel, we'll be long dead, and they'll still be making them, and we'll never get to see the conclusion.
He'll be trying to pull off a 24-hour Avatar live stream.
Next week, the upcoming episode for Drunken Classic, that falls to you, Jordan. What are we reviewing next week on Drunken Classic?
I'm gonna go sci-fi. I'm gonna go District 9.
Oh,
I love District 9.
yes.
That's one of my favorite.
Love that movie.
Nice.
One of my favorite movies.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's like for me, we can talk about it later, but that's one of those movies where I had no idea what was the plot, nothing. I had no concept of it. And you go in there and get your mind blown off. Like The Matrix was another one for me. I had no idea what it was about. You go in the theater like, oh, it was awesome.
All right, so District 9, and just so everyone knows, Butter on Top next week will be a movie that we can all enjoy for free in the comfort of our homes. If you have Netflix, it will be Knives Out, Glass Onion. So thank you so much for joining us. For Josh, for Jordan, we will see you at the movies, and bring your popcorn and beers.